At the start of the story, two men engage in a brawl in Garibong District's market. The fight escalates to knives being drawn. The police are uncertain how to handle the situation. Suddenly, a man absorbed in a phone call steps in and uses his phone to knock the goons' heads together. This man is Dong-Seok, an adept policeman in Garibong District. He begins investigating the case where the victim, who was stabbed, turns out to be a member of the Venom Gang, targeted by the Susu Gang. Meanwhile, Park, the assistant of the Venom Gang, is on the phone informing his boss, Change, that they are prepared to avenge the attack by the Isu Gang. The Isu Gang members had previously stabbed Venom Gang members. The Venom Gang sets out for revenge, but Dong-Seok and his fellow officers intercept them. Dong-Seok urges them to retreat, aiming to prevent further violence, but his warning is ignored, forcing him to subdue one of the attackers. Before things escalated further, the leader of the Venom Gang arrived and spoke with Dong-Seok. Afterward, Dong-Seok set out to capture the member of the Isu Gang who had stabbed the Venom Gang member. The suspect tried to intimidate the police, but Dong-Seok subdued one of them. The target attempted to flee, leading Dong-Seok on a long chase. Unintentionally, the criminal was giving Dong-Seok a workout. Eventually, Dong-Seok caught up to him. The suspect brandished a knife, and Dong-Seok calmly asked him to hand it over. When he refused, Dong-Seok forcefully took him down to the ground, causing some concern among the officers that he might have been seriously hurt. Meanwhile, the Chinese gang was torturing a Venom Gang member who had defaulted on a loan. The gang was demanding double the repayment amount. Their leader, Jae-jun, offered a deal, a 300,000 discount in exchange for one of the debtor's fingers. Despite the man's desperate pleas, the gang started to offer their discount, repeatedly hitting him with a hammer. During this time, Dong-Seok continued his investigation at the police station. At that time, Dong-Seok was interrogating a member of the Isu Gang who remained tight-lipped. To coerce him into talking, the police opted to apply pressure, resulting in the suspect divulging everything after a bit of persuasion. Soon after, his enraged captain arrived, frustrated by the rising crime rate in their district, which had stalled his career advancement. Dong-Seok was deeply affected by the captain's complaints the next morning, prompting him to take immediate action. He headed straight to the gambling den to confront Popla, the leader of the Isu Gang. Along the way, a bodyguard attempted to intervene, but Dong-Seok handled him smoothly. He negotiated with Popla to resolve the conflict, urging Taklu to forge an alliance with the leader of the Venom Gang, despite their bitter rivalry. Under Dong-Seok's influence, they reluctantly agreed to feign friendship. The police even snapped a photo with the captain, hopeful that peace would reign with the gang's newfound cooperation. However, tensions escalated when the boss of the Venom Gang received distressing news about a member being held for ransom by the Chinese. Changa, the gang's leader, intervened upon learning that Jae-jun had raised the ransom from 2 million to 15 million. Enraged, Changa asserted his authority, reminding Jae-jun of his formidable reputation. Jae-jun's casual demeanor further infuriated Changa, who retaliated by publicly humiliating Jae-jun and exacting a fatal punishment on the debtor. Now, Park, the assistant in the Venom Gang, was burdened with the debt, and Jae-jun emerged as the new leader of the Venom Gang from that night onward. Dong-Seok visited a bar in Kaurav where the owner greeted him warmly. He and his favorite companion enjoyed themselves, aware that police scrutiny could threaten the establishment. They ensured Dong-Seok received special attention. Meanwhile, Jae-jun and his followers also arrived. The girls at the bar kept Dong-Seok intoxicated, and later one of them woke him when the police arrived outside. This sobered Dong-Seok immediately. He quickly assessed the situation, noticing the chaotic room and bloodied walls. The hotel staff recounted an incident where 3 men harassed and assaulted the girls. When the manager intervened, he was attacked and injured. Jae-joon calmed his men and apologized initially, but the situation escalated when the manager insulted him again. Enraged, Jae-joon and his associates retaliated violently. The bar owner, furious about his manager's injury, vowed to capture the culprits. As the police investigated and the CCTV footage became damaged, Dong-Seok's presence was noted. His boss reprimanded him for his behavior, but Dong-Seok defended himself, claiming the culprit wore similar clothes. Despite seeing Jae-joon in the blurred CCTV footage, his identity remained elusive. The following day, Jae-joon decided to take over the Isu gang's gambling den. He and his men arrived at the location, where they were met by Popla, the Isu gang leader, and his followers. Popla began to feel intimidated by Jae-joon's demeanor. Outside, Jae-joon's men overpowered Popla's crew. Jae-joon then threatened Popla, warning him that death was imminent. With no other choice, Popla handed over control of the gambling operation to Jae-joon. Meanwhile, the police discovered the body of Chang-gi, the Venom gang leader. From various sources, they learned that the same individuals responsible for the attack on Koro's bar were also behind Chang-gi's murder. The next evening, Dong-Seok and his team were dining when Dong-Seok noticed some Chinese men seated nearby. Suspecting they were Jae-joon and his crew, Dong-Seok devised a plan to capture them discreetly. Jae-joon also sensed something was off and headed to the restroom. Dong-Seok instructed his junior to follow Jae-joon and another officer to close the exit. However, Jae-joon emerged from the restroom, severely injuring the police officers in the ensuing chaos, and he and his men escaped. Later that night, the owner of Koro's bar kidnapped Park, the Venom gang's assistant, who had been working for Jae-joon. Under severe torture, Park agreed to help trap Jae-joon, as he was also frustrated with him. That same night, Dong-Seok was sitting alone in a restaurant when a worker noticed his hand wound and applied medicine to it. Dong-Seok appreciated the care since he had no one else to look after him. The Isu gang retaliated by attacking Jae-joon's gambling den, which Jae-joon had previously taken from them. They cleverly ensnared Jae-joon's followers, but the police soon arrived, capturing one of the attackers after a brief scuffle. Despite intense interrogation, the captured gang member remained silent. Meanwhile, Jae-joon plotted his revenge against the Isu gang. He sent one of his men with a gift for the Isu gang boss's wedding anniversary. The man used a fire extinguisher to disrupt the event, filling the place with smoke and ruining the women's makeup. Amid the chaos, Jae-joon himself entered, intent on revenge. He killed several of the Baldy's men before confronting and ultimately killing the Baldy, despite the latter's valiant defense. This bold act elevated Jae-joon's notoriety, leading to a lucrative $20 million deal from a wealthy businessman. The target was none other than the owner of Koro's bar, who also wanted Jae-joon dead. The deal was set to be finalized at a restaurant, but Koro's barmen ambushed them. Watching from outside was Park, the Venom gang assistant, who had orchestrated the trap. Jae-joon smashed through a window and fled to his car, but Park attacked him. Despite being injured, Jae-joon and his companion managed to defeat Park. Dong-Seok and his team continued to gather information about Jae-joon. Concerned about the escalating violence, Dong-Seok sought help from the local community. Initially reluctant, the locals were eventually convinced by a motivational speech from a restaurant worker. They agreed to photograph gangsters and report to the police, aiming to facilitate a mass arrest. Complications arose when Jae-joon's assistant was being sent to China for punishment, as he was the only one who could provide information about Jae-joon. During the transfer, a packet of drugs fell from a policeman's pocket, catching the attention of a bold man who claimed expertise in drug supply. the police agreed to work with him for their own illegal activities. However, it was later revealed that this was all part of Dong-Soo's plan to get closer to Jae-jun. The bald man relayed this to his boss. Initially skeptical, Jae-jun suspected a trap, but upon examining the drug sample, he believed the bald man. The following day, one of Jae-jun's followers contacted the Chinese police to obtain the meeting location. Once he had the information, he headed there. Meanwhile, Jae-jun and his men went to Koro's bar to kill the owner. A violent clash ensued between Jae-jun's crew and the bar's defenders. Spotting the owner, Jae-jun chased him down the street and eventually caught him. Just as Jae-jun was about to strangle him to death, he had to flee due to the crowd and the approaching police. Elsewhere, the police apprehended the bald man and his associates, but the operation was considered a failure since Jae-jun was not found. Dong-Soo's team saw Jae-jun escaping and trailed him to the location, informing Dong-Soo. However, by the time Dong-Soo arrived, Jae-jun had already fled to a restaurant Dong-Soo frequented. There, Jae-jun called the businessman he had a deal with, falsely claiming he had killed the bar owner and demanding payment. The businessman agreed, and Jae-jun jotted down the transaction details, noticing some misleading photos taken at the restaurant. Realizing he was deceived, Jae-jun brutally beat the old man and the child present. During this, the child managed to call Dong-Soo. When Dong-Soo arrived, he found the old man seriously injured and the child still alive. Dong-Soo called an ambulance, and the child revealed that Jae-jun was fleeing to China. Dong-Soo then obtained the businessman's contact number and arranged for the businessman to pretend to deliver the money to Jae-jun, ensuring he would head to the airport. The businessman handed Jae-jun a card, claiming it contained his money. As soon as Jae-jun took the card, he rushed to the airport, unaware that Dong-Soo was already waiting for him there. Confronting Jae-jun, Dong-Soo asked if he preferred using tissue paper or water, leading to a fierce fight. The police intervened, beating Jae-jun multiple times. Despite taking a few hits himself, Dong-Soo ultimately overpowered Jae-jun. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, please like and share it. See you in the next one. Until then, take care and goodbye.